Don't watch that. Watch this.
Well, what do you mean by this? Oh, well, this is my channel. Welcome to it. And if you guys do really enjoy it, you can go in, you can click the share button. That really, really helps the algorithm. Go to Twitter, Facebook, Blogger. I don't even know what the crap that is. Reddit, all the stuff. So if you do love that, we also have a join button. You go in, you click the little join button. $4.99 a month. You get all the cool, awesome emojis. Now, enjoy the video. You know what? I agree with you, Jason Isaacs. Hello, everyone. I am Mecha Random 42, the one, the only, your favorite YouTube harpy, and Jason Isaacs wants, IST fans ists to stop pretending to be Star Trek. I agree, because there's nothing more off-putting than going into a Star Trek convention to be told by a bunch of cast members from the new series, including Jason Isaacs, Anthony Rapp, Mary Chieffo, and Wilson Cruz, how much we're all a bunch of ists and phobes, even though we grew up watching Star Trek. Of course, well, who are we talking about with all of the Discovery cast members? I'll just throw them all right here. Star Trek Discovery's Mary Chieffo calls to replace Game of Thrones creators with a diversity hire checklist. Here's her actual tweet. Which of the following would be a super freaking smart and badass choice of replacement? A woman of color, a person of color, a member of the LGBT plus community, or all of the above? And of course, everybody and their mother has called her out on that bit of, hate mongering. It's just hateful. And, Anthony Rapp doesn't want to see a bunch of white people. Doesn't want to. There's another one, and this is from the Star Trek Las Vegas panel that you guys sent me to. So you can see, but the biggest one of all, of course, is Wilson Cruz, who just cannot stand rich old straight white men. Which, I'm sorry, that's a little bit prejudice, isn't it? Because guess what, Wilson Cruz, for these actors to get on their high horses, I am probably not nearly as well off as anybody on this show, including the crew. All right, I do YouTube for a living. So the fact that these people have to sit there and tell me that I'm an ist or a phobe or whatever the crap they want to tell me that I am is just disgusting to me. It is just disgusting. Oh, and of course there's an update on this because Jason Isaacs couldn't just shut his mouth. Star Trek Discovery's Jason Isaacs called critics and not Star Trek fans racist, right-wing lunatic. Well, this is the Bounty into Comics one. Guess what? Real liberals don't want you in their party because you are a hateful racist. Yeah, that's all you are. You're just a hateful mental patient who assumes that everybody who isn't out there bashing that orange asshole in the White House is on the other side. That's the problem. That's the big mental disease that's going around today, is that people like to insert this idea that because you are not bashing the thing I am bashing, that you are for it. And that is not the case. This is why I always tell these people, take your meds. Take your meds, Jason. Take your meds. You're off of them and you're making things up and you're delusional again. Because seriously, none of this is true. Like I show in the video, none of this is true. Initially, when we watched Star Trek, there were a bunch of voices pretending to be Star Trek fans online. Well, you know what? I agree. Those people who pretend to be Star Trek fans, the actual ists and phobes like Wilson Cruz probably should stop. They should probably stop. Because that's the thing. I don't agree with this hateful, disgusting, disturbing behavior that these actors are portraying, and it's bleeding down into the fandom. And this is something that Trek fans need to know before they come in. That if you have any criticism about the writing of the show, they're going to make up all of this nonsense in their head because they can't understand. They don't have the mental capacity to understand that they have a badly written TV show, and no, they have to blame it on their TDS, on their little mental gymnastics, their made up imaginary bullshit arguments. This is the same thing as a girlfriend coming in and accusing a guy of cheating on her when all he's doing is getting spam and junk mail. and crap, right? That's all. You know, this is the thing. And then she goes through his phone and she's like, who's this person? I don't know. That's in my spam filter. I don't read that, right? This isn't me. This isn't something I give a crap about, and quit making shit up. Oh my God, it's just disgusting. And this is more examples of the just toxic writer's room. I'll link this article probably. It just keeps going. It's every day. I am so sick of these people. And if they can't get their act together, then their show is going to be dead on arrival. Then Picard is going to fail if they can't control these actors and stop being so anti-fans and stop with this little mental patient making up their argument because they have nothing, because they can't admit they made a bad show. It's easier to play the fan blame game and go along with all the other garbage properties that are out there blaming us, like Star Wars and Doctor Who and everything else that says, oh no, you're just a bunch of ists and phobes because your writing sucks. You know what? Bring in Walter Mosley. Bring in an old Jewish black guy. I would love to have him write for your show. Oh wait, you bullied him out of the writer's room, didn't you? You did. You told him and you went and complained to HR that he relayed an anecdote and the writers were a bunch of pussies and could not take it. And this is where we are with Star Trek. This is the culture of people that they want in Star Trek, and they do not want us anymore. Sorry for not being on camera. This one just dropped before I got the chance to edit yesterday's. I'm adding that to this because it's a little bit more thorough. Tell me. I'm such an ist that I only collect action figures that look exactly like me because I'm such an ist. You know, I can't have any ethnic or action figures of color, despite the fact that Whoopi Goldberg was absolutely inspirational in this series, as was Nichelle Nichols. And just everybody. I mean, they had a Russian on the bridge during the Cold War, for fuck's sake. But no. Jason Isaacs wants to tell me that in his delusional little head that you know, you all voted for this orange asshole in the White House. No, Jason. Where's my Jason Isaacs thwacker? Well, No, this is the problem with Star Trek, is you have a bunch of people running around with this, oh, you're just no white dude, your opinion doesn't matter because you're just an ist and you're a phobe, and you don't like this because you're just an ist and a phobe because you're no white dude. Well, here's where I agree with him. The people who go around yelling at the old white dudes, oh, you're just an old white dude, those people actually need to go, because that is ist. It is just as unpleasant as this woman.
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him.
Yeah, and if you think for 1 minute that people actually dislike the character of Michael Burnham based on the color of their skin, you're a mental patient. You need medication. Because people don't dislike the character Michael Burnham because of the color of her skin. No, nobody said anything against the color of the woman's skin. She's a very lovely actress. She's probably pretty talented when she's not in Star Trek Discovery. No, that is not the problem. The problem is the garbage writing that doesn't make sense, turning Spock into this.
I like science.
Into nothing, and yelling at us, calling us a bunch of ists and phobes because we said, hey, the writing is garbage. So, Jason Isaacs, I don't need some 40-year-old British guy to tell me about, A, my American politics. Go over and do your, go tell me how well Boris Johnson's doing for you over there, buddy. B, I agree. I am tired of this toxic culture they have at Star Trek in the writer's room, making Spock learning disabled.
I like science.
Like literally making him dyslexic, forgetting what dyslexic actually means, getting offended when a writer, a Jewish African-American writer, he's half Jewish, half African-American, an elderly man, over 60, comes in and relays an anecdote, and they run back and call and complain to HR because he was relaying an anecdote where he quoted a police officer using actual ist languages, using that word that I'm not allowed to say, and I wouldn't even if they gave me a pass for it. No, because I have a little bit more respect than that. Unlike these puritanical, pearl-clutching pussies in the writer's room over at Star Trek Discovery who just want to blame the fans. This is one more case of fan blaming instead of looking at their own selves and their own hate-mongering attitude towards us. I'm sorry I'm born with this color of skin. I can't help that. Nor should I even have to apologize for that. But just because I am this color criticizing the writing of a show that stars a woman of color, it does not mean that I dislike Sonequa Martin Green in one bit at all. I find her acting to be wooden. I find her character to be insufferable. And that has nothing to do with the color of her skin. She's playing an alien-ish. She's playing a wannabe alien. She's playing somebody with a Vulcan soul inside of her body. So don't you tell me, a lifelong Star Trek fan, that I am an istanophobe. Don't you dare. Also, Scravage499 super chat. I'm going to catch up here. It's okay, everyone. Jason Isaacs is just constipated, and Mecha's ripping him a new one to help him out. And thank you so much. Lookout Tower Radio, $1 super chat. Really, really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. So there are a lot of reasons fandom culture in the modern age has been tarred with a general air of toxicity to the actions of select groups. One of the myriad reasons is, well, these words that I'm not going to say. Getting mad that progressively minded fiction is a thing that exists. No. I love Star Trek. This is not Star Trek.
I like science.
No, this is subpar writing for people who are too, but it's not, right? I love Star Trek. I love Whoopi Goldberg on Star Trek. Sisko's my favorite captain. The only thing I am anti when it comes to Star Trek is writing that talks down to me, and writing and production and articles and actors that want to just blame me for not liking their work, for expecting a certain quality. I have been a Star Trek fan my entire life. I like it more than Star Wars. I'm going to admit that right now. The fact that these people get it in their heads that we dislike a show based on progressive ideals. Those ideals have nothing to do with the show. There is not one single bit of progressive anything in there. There's not a message of, hey, maybe we should be equal. No, and in fact, it is the opposite. It is regressive in the fact that it talks down to every single white male on that show. It is an ist in itself because it is anti-old white dudes, because that is the acceptable category for people to be ists and phobes at. And if you don't think so, then why do we have this little idiot running her mouth?
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't me.
Shut up. Star Trek wasn't made for you. You're not smart enough for it, Brie. This is the problem, and that's the problem with Star Trek in general, is that they're trying to cater to this crowd of people who just recite back anybody who complains with anything is an ist and a phobe. And that is not the case. That is not the case. My problem is with being insulted with the level of intelligence that this show lacks. Right? It throws a million lines of dialogue and flashing lights and crap at the screen and lens flare and everything else to distract you from the fact that nothing happens, and it can't even stay consistent with its own canon. Jason Isaacs has no time for them. Shielding that hatred is a fandom. And I don't have time for these hate-mongering writers' rooms and production companies that are just going to blame me for their own failures. You're blaming me for your own failures. What do you want? Do you want my money? What do you want from me? I don't understand anymore. This is where we're at. It's like, okay, I know I'm not an istanophobe, and I know 90% of the people I interact with who dislike Discovery are not actually ists and the phobes, and the one or two of them that do come around, I ban. Because I don't want to hear that crap. That is not the problem with Star Trek. The problem with Star Trek is that the character is insufferable. And it could be a 40-year-old, it could be Jason fucking Isaacs himself playing Michael Burnham, and I would still hate Star Trek Discovery. It could be any character. Michael Burnham, just because it's played by an African-American woman, is the only thing that's what they do. That's the only reason. It's because they can critic-proof it. It's so that they can use this tactic, this fan-blaming mentality, to what? Protect themselves from criticism, because they'll see this and they don't actually know. They assume, they don't understand that Star Trek was always progressive. Star Trek was one of the most progressive liberal things out there on television. It always has been, and that's why I was always a fan of it. And now lately, when the ideals shifted and everybody started getting up in arms over, oh, you can't have cleavage. You can't have cleavage. You can't say this. You can't say that. Oh, well, how does she breathe if she has where are her ribs? We went through the slut shaming cycle. We went through this whole entire, and everybody is just out to yell at everybody else over this. And hate mongering shows like this don't help. They don't help. I'm so tired of this. So yeah, I would love for these people who go around saying, I hate old white dudes, to stop being Star Trek fans and to stop writing it and stop acting in it, because yeah, Star Trek needs to go back to its actual progressive liberal ideals, and I am not going to take this hate mongering from these productions. Do you understand me? Jason Isaacs. Do you understand me? Alex, Kurtzman, Michael, Chabon, Akiva Goldsman, I can go on. It's just everybody behind the scenes in Star Trek Discovery. And Picard. Picard will be exactly this. If you don't like this, you will be called every name in the book, even if you're a 50-year-old white guy married to a black woman. You're still going to be called every name in the book. And also shout out to my good buddy Anti-Trekker. I'm using him as a good example here of how Star Trek fans never thought this way, right? Star Trek fans are smarter than you think we are, and we are tired of being talked down to, and we're tired of you shoving out the old intelligent Star Trek fans for these people who come in and they just want to cosplay, but they're not quite attractive enough to do the Star Wars or Marvel cosplay, so they're like, oh, well, where can I fit in, because I'm kind of geeky. Oh, I'm gonna go to Star Trek. You know what? Come to Star Trek. We'll welcome you. Just don't start your little LGBT-only groups and expect us to not be like, wait, what? No, you were Star Trek. We're all Star Trek. We're all Star Trek fans. There's no subgroups of Star Trek fans unless you're by location. You know, you'll have like, oh, here's the Denver branch, or here's the, because location, like, it's not exclusive of people based on who they sleep with, the color of their skin. But that's who they're catering to now. They're going after William Shatner. Because they attack him, right? They attack him and then they cry about it when he blocks him. Or them, or whoever. I don't know. I don't care about their pronouns. Because seriously, who cares? To the people who are like, oh, no, we're the LGBT Star Trek fans. You're not included because you're not LGBT enough. Because you're only the B. The B in LGBT. So you're not included in this. And I'm so tired of people like that. I'm tired of this mentality. I'm tired of being blamed by the studios, and they think that I'm going to give them money for this series. Can F movies themselves. I will see you guys back on my live stream. Don't you go anywhere. I still see you. I still see you guys. I'm just gonna throw the end card on. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.